Okay. So what I'm seeing is, Leo, that some of you are dealing with fire signs. Okay. I feel that some of you are interested in possibly someone who has some fire in their chart. And I feel as though this person, if they don't have fire in their chart, they have fire characteristics. Okay. And I like to be very careful when I say that because, again, we're all chameleons. You have to understand we all have leadership skills like an Aries. We all have that introvert aspect of ourselves like a Virgo. We all have that, party spirit like a Sagittarius. We all have that sexual aspect to ourselves like a Scorpio. We all have that little aspect of ourselves that wants to look so fly and so fresh like a Libra. You understand what I'm saying? We all have those characteristics. So what the point that I'm saying here, Leo, is that you're seeing someone that is marriage material. Okay? And this marriage material individual, you definitely find them attractive. You definitely see them as marriage material. They balance you out in several areas. However, they do come with an area of conflict. Like you guys have those areas of you beef sometimes. You get into it sometimes. And no relationship is perfect, but I do see that you definitely care about this person, but I don't think that you trust this person completely. Okay, and given that justice is the overall energy, we're all looking for a situation in our relationships where things are fair. But Leo, I feel that you guys are starting to venture out and look out and say, what are my other options? Because I think that you guys are looking more along the lines of wanting to be in a relationship where you feel healed. You feel like this person is really taking care of your soul. That this person is not just taking care of things on the surface and not just playing the part of marriage material, but that this person really and truly is balancing you out and not balancing you out only when they choose to be present. Okay, because this 5 of Swords is telling me that there's an aspect to this person that is a little bit mysterious and not so honest. Okay, and that this person could be a little methodical and that they may not understand the concept of sacrifice when it comes to relationship. And that's an area that's creating some conflict for you. Yes, you could make the relationship work, but I feel like some of you are looking out and saying to yourself, is this really a fair situation for me to be in? Is this really something that I see myself being in at the end of the day? I do think that you find this person attractive, right? And that you think highly of this person in many areas, but I think something that's kind of like putting water on the passion and taking the passion away from the relationship is the fact that overall you don't trust this person. And that's what this 5 of Swords is showing me here, okay? And especially when I see this Knight of Pentacles right next to it, that tells me that this person, you feel like this person could be a little methodical at times. And nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody that's methodical. We want to be in a relationship with somebody that is sincere. And so I think there's a lack of sincerity in the relationship at times, Leo. So obviously that would create some internal conflict. And some of you may be ready to make that sacrifice and say, yes, this may not be a very comfortable move for me to make, but if I have any doubts or any concerns in my personal relationship, in my love life, this is not something that I want to invest in any longer. And I feel like some of you are actually married or committed to this person with this King of Pentacles. This King of Pentacles tells me that you are married to this person, possibly. You may have some children with this person, a family with this person, but you feel like this person behaves like a teenager at times and does not know how to, take the mature route in this relationship. And there's some healing internally that needs to take place. There is no balance. Where there was once balance, I feel like it's starting to become unbalanced. And given that justice is the overall energy, you're starting to realize the things in this relationship that are unfair, and it's probably starting to rub you the wrong way. But I do see that there's like an area with this person that you really, there are areas with this person that you really love. There are things about this person that you really love, and there's some things about this person that you really hate. That is definitely what I'm saying. There's some things about this person that you really love and some things about this person that you really hate. And it's like you're making a sacrifice when it comes to those things that you really hate. But it's starting to create so much of a conflict internally for you that love is having to conquer that area. But you know that it's optional for you to be in this relationship at this point. You're starting to consider your options. So when I see this, I'm going to go ahead and just, put 5 cards in the middle to see what spirit is. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm seeing, lovies. At the end of the day, in this relationship, if you choose to stay in this relationship, I see that this person has an area of bossiness to them that you don't like. I feel that this person makes you feel off kilter. I feel that sometimes you think to yourself that the foundation of this relationship is not what you would like for it to be. This person breaks your heart at times. You suspect that this person is not faithful at times. And this person is the source of your depression at times. I definitely see that, Leo. And you're starting to realize how unfair this is, because I feel that you're giving a lot more to this relationship than what you're getting out of it. And that's what I'm seeing with this Queen of Cups right here. Queen of Cups energy is letting me know that you're letting love conquer all with regards to what this person is bringing, to the table, and I think you're starting to weigh out things with this person. I think things are starting to come to the surface with this person. You're starting to say to yourself, okay, what is this person doing and what is this person not doing? And I think you're starting to say to yourself, I think I need to start balancing these scales here. That's what this is saying right here. I think you guys are starting to look at this relationship and say, you know what? I don't like the fact that this person at times acts like they don't want me, but they don't want anybody else to have me. I feel like this person has a bit of neglectful energy, because right here in the middle, you see this 3 of Swords. And I feel like this person breaks your heart. And especially when I see this 3 of Cups following it, this could also be indicative of infidelity. And I don't like to just jump to that conclusion. But when I see 2 3s back to back like that's what that tells me. And I feel that you've made a lot of sacrifices for this person as well. And I think you guys are getting to a point, Leo, where you're no longer wanting to. I think you're starting to realize that you are more marriage material than this person is, actually. You're more marriage material than this person is, male or female. And I think you're starting to come to your senses and realize that you are more of a catch than what this person makes you feel like at times. See, what happens in relationships after a while, once we're with somebody for a certain time frame, we start to adopt the idea of ourselves that the person has given us. So if that makes any sense. So let me say it a different way. The way that the person treats us is the way that we start to think about ourselves. So if a person makes us feel less than, then we start to actually believe that over time. Whereas when you first got into this relationship, you knew your value. You knew you were hot shit, which is why this person got with you in the first place. And I feel like this person is actually starting to break your foundation down to some degree, Leo. Now, when I first got on here and said, I see that the overall energy is justice, this may not have any correlation whatsoever to the Aries reading, okay? Because this is a completely different energy that I'm seeing, okay? So it may not have any correlation. What I'm seeing with you, Leo, is that some of you are saying, you know what? I know my value, and this person is starting to forget who I am. They're starting to forget, who I am. They're starting to take me for granted. They're starting to go and do things that they didn't do before. They're starting to get comfortable in this relationship to a point where they're doing things that they knew I would never put up with before. But given that we've got some years under our belt or some time under our belt, this person's starting to get comfortable and do things that they weren't doing before. This person is not the marriage material that they were before. I'm still that person, and I'm trying to let love conquer all. However, this person is starting to take advantage of the fact that I am that loving person that will make the sacrifices to keep this relationship going the way that that it's going. And I feel that you're putting in a lot more work into this relationship to keep it going versus this other person. And that's where this justice is coming in as the overall energy. It's not fair. It's an unfair situation. So Leo, in this particular situation, I would have to tell you, don't forget who you are and don't let this other person dictate your value, because that's what this person is trying to do. With this King of Swords energy, in this context with the surrounding cards, I'm seeing that this person has a tendency to be a little bossy, and they're trying to test the waters, and they want to see if they can pull this my way or the highway shit with you. And they're trying to change the foundation of the relationship. Whereas the foundation of the relationship before was solid, now what they're trying to do is they're trying to see what they can get away with. They're trying to test the waters in the relationship. That's what I'm saying. So Leo, in my opinion, my advice would be to let them know, no, I'm sorry. Remember, these were the rules when we got together, and this is what I stand for, and this is what I don't stand for. For those of you who want to go into your personal cards and talk about if you feel that this is someone that you need to stick it out with or not, as no relationship is perfect, the information is in the description box if you're interested in a private read. But I see that a lot of you are starting to think along the lines of looking elsewhere, because I feel like some of you feel underappreciated in this relationship. Some of you are feeling like you're putting a lot more sacrifice into this relationship than the other person. And it's starting to break your heart because you're seeing that this other person is not adding to the balance in this. You're doing all the work to keep things, pleasant in the relationship. And this person is taking the work that you're putting into the relationship for granted. They're taking you for granted, baby. That's what I'm seeing, Leo.